Hello, this is Johnny B. Bad, 661 John F. K. Page. Explaining some of the conditions I grew up in Detroit. Uh, it was pretty fucked up. I went weeks and months, some weeks and months without electricity, sometimes no gas to heat the house with, because my mom would fail to pay the bill, which is pretty fucked up. I had no electricity for months and weeks at a time. And couldn't make friends at all either. You know, I had a very hard, difficult time making friends or developing connections when I was a kid. You know, because I I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me. You know, I couldn't really develop a connection or anything. And if any time I got into a fight with somebody or whatever, I just didn't want to have anything to do with them. I started thinking I was developing a friendship, and all of a sudden they wanted to fight with me, and that's what turned me off to the whole friendship situation, and I didn't want to be friends with them anymore, which I guess kind of fucked me in the long run. But then again, yeah, in a way, but then again, I probably should have stayed away from the people too. I don't know. You know, I don't know if that's the normal way kids grow up. They friends fight with each other and stuff. I really didn't go for it. But anyway, I had some mild developmental issues. I think, I don't know. I wish I could have my records, but then again, some things are best to be left unknown. You know, I probably don't want to know about that. It just brings up too many memories. Um, and I was also that's probably why, like I said, I couldn't develop friendships, close friendships, and I probably couldn't form a band either. Developed some interest in playing an instrument, but never really got into it seriously. I wanted to start. I had some mild inklings of starting a band, but it never came to fruition. I wanted to play bass guitar, but my school didn't have a music program for me to go to. It had me in one of those fucked up schools, you know, thinking I wasn't going to go amount to anything. I had some problem. I had some problem with one kid that I was going to school. Thinking back in my elementary years, and also now going up into it was mainly in my elementary years. Not elementary, teenage years. He was saying he was going to build a weather machine, and I would tell him to shut up. Ain't no such thing as a weather machine. I just got underneath me, but that was my fault. I was acting real stupid about that situation. So you can't control the weather. You can't control the weather. I should have left that alone. I destroyed somebody else's dream by saying that to him, and that kind of, all these years later, it kind of got me underneath me a little bit too, thinking about that. Like, shut your mouth, John. Anything's possible if you believe in it, but then again, there's physics involved too. Anyway, many years, you know, anything can happen with technology, I guess, and there's limits too. Anyway, that's beyond that point. Then the other thing was I part of the Boy Scouts, and that was a fucked up situation there too. Boy Scout leader would invite us up into his cabin over in Sarnia, Ontario. His name was Bill DeGarrett, and he'd always go to bed, put me in the bed with him, and we would sleep naked. That was a fucked up situation. I should have got away from that. I wish I would open up my mouth to people when this shit was going on. Then a few of the Boy Scout meetings, they used to call this thing called Smear the Queer, and it put us in the yard, and they'd tackle us. Had the rest of the Boy Scouts group tackle me, along with a few others. Which is pretty fucked up. Then I was also a part of the Civil Air Patrol. It's sort of like the ROTC, and they had a Halloween party, so I painted my face black and my hands black, you know, and said I was a robber. I dressed up as a burglar. And they had some blacks there at the party, at the Civil Air Patrol party, and they said, "Where you supposed to be?" They kept questioning me. I told them I was a robber. I was a burglar, house burglar, cat burglar, you know, dressed up as a criminal, you know, for Halloween. And finally, I just got sick of it. I said, "All right, this is the answer you want. I'm dressed as a fucking black man." All right, and they just couldn't handle it. They just fucked up, and then I got to be kicked out. I got kicked out. So fuck them, you know. Gave them the answer they wanted, which they didn't like. I was dressed up as a criminal, painted up in, you know, like I was trying to disguise myself as a criminal. And not necessarily blackface or whatever, but anyway, fucktards. People wanted to be a combat jet pilot, but they kind of fucked me out of that one too, because they couldn't take jokes and giggles. Fucking fucktards. Like I said, I was dressed as a burglar, as most burglars do. Wear a mask or paint themselves up, and that shows the idiocy of some of these people. Like I said, if I could have developed the friendships and camaraderie, some people, I could have probably had a rock band, developed a rock band, and been a hell of a lot better off than where I'm at right now. Or a combat jet pilot, been a hell of a lot better than I am right now. Or even an actor, been a hell of a lot better than that. Better now than I would have now. If I would have done that. Better off now if I would have done all that. But I just couldn't develop the friendships and the connections. You know, I guess there was something miswired or whatever in me. I didn't feel that connection or camaraderie or whatever. I don't know. Fucking people, they just kept fucking with me to the point, I mean, like, it was, you know, you feel a cohesion and you get the warm fuzzies when you get together with people. I never really could feel that. I felt it once or twice, but the one name was Patrick. Uh, he had some band equipment and stuff, and he had a bass, and I had bought the bass off of him and started trying practicing on it, and it was difficult doing it by myself. I tried to go over. I was trying to express a passion, but it just got overwhelmed me. I don't know. And the living conditions I was in the neighborhood just didn't give me any inspiration. We're in that fucking era. I had more people that encouraged me and backed me. I also got kicked out of the Boy Scouts too. I was pretending to do drop kicks with the janitor there, and people at the Boy Scouts thinking I was trying to kick the janitor. I'm like, I wasn't trying to kick him. And they fucked up. They treated me like shit. Blacks treated me like shit too. I was in school. And I had some mild anger issues from that too. Every time I saw somebody black, the janitor was black, and every time I don't know what it was, it seemed like every time I saw somebody black, because I was fucked with in school with blacks, it would give me an anger issue about it. And I thought black people were out to get me, but yeah, then again, you know, society is today is they're trying to seek retribution or whatever bullshit. Back in that time and era too. This is back in the 80s, 70s, late 70s to mid 80s, mid and late 80s. And that was my teenage years. They were pretty fucked up. Wait to hear about my adult years. Some codependencies and bullshit, which I should have never done. But anyway, give you another video blog here soon, and hopefully, like Detroit was a very fucked up environment to grow up in. Like I said, fuck you, Detroit, from the 70s to the late 80s. That's what you get. Late 80s and 90s. Right there. For fucking up my childhood and teenage years. Okay? And I'll explain the 90s, what went on too. I was pretty fucked up. Have a good one. Give you another video blog here soon. Okay?